In 2010, God began showing me things in dreams. I had very prophetic dreams about the church I attended, things that were going to happen, of changes that were going to take place. But the most profound dreams were those of the state of apostasy in the church. That growing apostasy that seemed to increase on a daily basis. And one of the things was end time messages, such as end of the world on such and such a date. He pointed out to me that all of these were false because he promised me that no man knew those dates. And he started pointing out things to me. For instance, one group predicted the end of the world on May 21st, 2011. They even put up a website showing all of the Bible verses that they used to confirm that May 21st, 2011 was going to be Judgment Day. And since that time, end-time prophetic announcements have increased exponentially. They are getting more and more every day. So quite a few years ago, I started a YouTube channel and tried to warn people about all of these false predictions. But as God had pointed out to me in one of my dreams, no one was going to listen. And obviously, that is true. But if I can get 1 out of 1,000 to listen, then it's worth it all. Because all these predictions are accomplishing is mass confusion. You see, it all stems back to the pre-tribulation rapture. Everybody's looking for the rapture. And it's an event that is not going to take place. You see, Satan invented all of this. He concocted it. He came up with it to kind of put the church to sleep. To get their mind off of the things that are going to happen onto something that's not going to happen. And that way, he gets away with all of the nasty things he's going to do. You see, you're looking for a rapture. You're looking for an escape from this world to avoid trial and tribulation during what most people call a 7-year period of tribulation. Now, people preach that the church has to be taken out of the way so that Antichrist can be revealed. And I'll ask you the question right now. Who's he going to be revealed to? The world, the lost world, could care less who Antichrist is. They're going to follow him regardless. So the only entity that would even recognize Antichrist for being Antichrist would be the church. And if the elect are the only ones that refuse the mark of the Antichrist, or the mark of the beast, as we call it, then, if they're not here, how can they reject it? So you see, Satan comes into the church and he creates a lie to get your attention off of the things you should have your mind on. And you're looking for the rapture instead of watching for Antichrist and the things that he's going to be doing that'll take people straight to hell. the mark of the beast being the most prominent thing. Now, if you're being taught that a rapture occurs first and then the mark of the beast, well, what's going to happen if there is no rapture? That mark comes along, you're going to voluntarily take it because the rapture hasn't occurred, so this can't be the mark of the beast. But here we are on YouTube again, and just prophetic pronouncements, one right after the other. Now it's February 17th, 2017. That's when Christ is returning. And yet Jesus himself told the disciples that no man knows the dates and times set by the Father's own authority. But people don't believe Jesus anymore. They don't listen to his words. I mean, Jesus commanded the church not to call anyone father on earth. But let me tell you something. There's not a Christian out there that doesn't call somebody father, especially in the church. And I realize that priests are referred to as father. Jesus said don't do that. But we do it anyway, don't we? Because Jesus didn't really mean that. Well, if he didn't mean it, why did he say it? Nobody follows the words of Christ anymore. Nobody cares if their neighbor is saved. Nobody cares if the rest of their family is saved. That's what it was all about. Got any idea why we were even created? Have you thought on that big question? Why am I here? You know, when you represent someone, everything you do reflects on that person. God created humanity to represent him and to declare his glory. The command to be fruitful and multiply, which is found in Genesis 1:26, that was a command to spread God's glory as his image bearers to the ends of the earth. And sadly, we abdicated this high calling, bringing shame upon the image of God. Thankfully, our failure is not the end of the story. Through the work of Jesus Christ, his Son, God is in the process of restoring what we ruined. But you have to get your mind on this, and you have to get your mind into the teachings of Jesus Christ. Take nothing out of the Bible but the teachings of Christ. Now, in Genesis 1:26, 27, and 28, we read that the triune God created man in his image and after his likeness. We're only part of the only part of creation that has this stamp on it. Animals, birds, livestock, all the creatures that crawl on the ground are not made in his image. No trees, mountains, stars, oceans were made after his likeness. In a world without sin, humanity accurately reflected the beauty of God. God lovingly created us in his image to display his glory through our enjoyment of him. And people will go into the Old Testament, take scripture out of context to use it in our present day to say, see, I have proof right here of what's going to happen. And you don't have anything. You have some words taken out of context. You know, as an image bearer of God, you have great value. You've got responsibilities. and accountabilities to God. We have to admit that our sin has distorted the image of God within us. Our only remedy for this is our redemption in Jesus Christ. And you will find that in the teachings of Jesus in the New Testament. Get rid of the Old Testament. Study and understand what it is Jesus Christ is trying to tell you. Every community is different. When you move to a new place, a new town, maybe take a new job, or you're transferred with the military, or wind up in a new school, you learn your new surroundings. I mean, a lot of things are going to look similar, but you soon realize that life isn't quite the same as it was back home. There's no greater difference in communities than between the community of Adam and of Christ. In Colossians 3, Paul reminds them that they have been delivered from the domain of darkness and transferred into the kingdom of his beloved Son. And also in Colossians 3, Paul urges believers to put to death that which belongs to the old community and put on that which belongs to the community of Jesus. He reminds them of the great transfer of citizenship that has taken place, telling them, you have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. Well, put on Christ, and you will put away all of these end-time prophetic announcements that are coming out. You'll pay no attention to them, and instead you will go to the lost and introduce Jesus Christ to them. That's the whole purpose of being here, is to share the love of Christ with a lost world. Not to sit twiddling your thumbs waiting on a rapture. And the mark of the beast? Don't worry about the mark of the beast. You're going to know what that mark is if you're following in Jesus' footsteps. If you're walking with him, he will point out the mark of the beast to you. And as long as you are with Jesus, you do not have one single worry. He will take care of you at the end of the world.